Hi crafty friends, this is Lori with a craft party. Wanted to get with you today and do something a little different for our junk journal. I'm going to set that off to the side. I already cut off the white excess along the outside edges. First thing I want to do is cut this down to 9 inches. By 7 inches. Then I'm going to get out my scoreboard. And I want to put the 9 inches across the top. So it's 9 inches long. Get out my scoring tool, and I want to score at 3 inches. And at 6 inches. Set my scoreboard off to the side. And I'm going to fold these like that. So now we have a trifold. Going to grab my ink, Distress Oxide Vintage Photo by Ranger. And I'm going to ink all our edges, including the fold lines, on both sides of the paper. The kit that I am using is called Solar Witch. It's the junk journal and the add-on kit. It's by Ink and Page Journals. I am not affiliated with Debbie. I just really enjoy her kits. Do the inside now. Debbie has a shop on Etsy where you can pick her kits up for very little. Ink these folds. Okay, put that off to the side. Now you could corner round, but I'm not going to corner round today. Then you want to grab, I've got tea dyed paper, 8.5 by 11 that I'm going to cut down. To 5 3/4. By 6 3/4. Put the excess off to the side. Fold up our handy dandy ruler. And this should fit in there. Perfect. We're going to fold it in half. Set it in there on that crease. I'm going to get my ruler out and my awl. Help if I had it on inches. And I am going to put a couple bulldog clips on there. Just to hold it in the right spot. Okay, and then we are going to put a hole at 1.5. At 3.5. Right there. And at 5. Sorry, it took me a minute to remember what it was supposed to be. Okay. And then we have our needle with our wax thread. And ideally you want it to be 3 times the length of your pamphlet. So we want to cut it about there. We're going to go in through the center. Leave a tail that's as long as it is from the center to the bottom edge. Then we're going to go into the top. Skip that center hole. Hold your tail down. Go in through the bottom hole. And you're going to come in at the other side of your first thread. So you've got your tails on either side of the one going down the center, like that. Then you want to give it a little bit of a tug, not too much because you don't want to rip your paper. Put a knot. Put a second knot, give it a good pull, and then you have one tail that's as long as your pamphlet. You want the other one to be as long as your pamphlet. And then we have pamphlet fold, and now we're going to decorate. So I've got some excess here that we used. And this is just leftovers that matches the junk journal. And I just want to mark where I want to cut it. Get out the handy dandy cutter. We're going to cut that off. And this is when I talk about using up our scraps. This is a good time to use up the scraps because we're going to make a pocket out of it. It's 7 inches long by 2.5 inches wide. We're going to make it a pocket right here. So we want to crease it at the halfway mark at the top only. Don't crease the bottom because we're going to use that with our 1-inch punch to show us where the center is and punch us out a thumb notch. Then we're going to get the, sorry if that was loud. Then we're going to get the ink out and ink this all up on the outside edge, including the thumb notch. And we just want to give it a good amount of ink. Then we're going to take the glue, and we've done this before. We take our glue and go along the outside edge, remembering that the closer we get to the outside edge, the bigger our pocket will be. Hold your hand on the side that you don't want glued. That's a little reminder for you that you don't want to glue there. Grab my towel, clean up my excess glue that I have right there. Then you want to glue your pocket on, lining it up with the edges. Don't know if I'm in frame. Lining it up with the edges. Give it a press. Clean up any of your excess glue. And now you have a pocket in your trifold. Okay, we'll open it to the back. And we'll take another piece of that excess. And you want to measure it so that it's not coming up into the fold where we got the fold here, because if it does, then it's going to fold your pocket or your tuck spot, which is what we're going to make. So we want to take off about 1/8 of an inch off of this. Check it again. There we go. And we're going to go up about 3 inches. See where my 3 inch, well, I could do it on here. Go to my 3-inch mark and cut it. Then we're going to take just a little corner off. It doesn't matter how big a corner, just a little bit of the corner off, and ink it. We don't need to ink the other side because it's not going to be seen. Okay, it's going to go right here. Move my scrap off to the side. Grab the glue, and again, we don't want to glue. We don't want to glue this side here, where we notched it, and also this side because we want it to be a tuck. So we only want to glue on 2 sides. There we go. Give that a press. Use your towel to clean up any of the excess glue that seeps out. And there's our trifold. Now let's put some embellishments on it. Got a book, a mushroom, a star, some crystals, it says golden rays. This says sunshine, burning bright, burning bright, fire glow. Well, let's go with sunshine on the mushroom. Oops. And fiery glow on the crystals. I'm going to grab some of my foam. have that, but I need to ink it first. So we're going to ink our mushroom. Okay, and we want to ink, we want to cut some of this off before we ink. Didn't cut that very straight. Cut it again. And we're going to cut a little off of this side. Throw those in the trash. And then we're going to ink it. We're going to take the mushroom and we're going to put some foam on it. Oh, I wanted to glue that down first. Move that out of the way a second. Put glue on your foam. Just helps hold the foam to hold onto the paper a little better. And then we'll take our cover piece off, both pieces of foam, and we'll put a little more glue on there so that the foam will adhere to the paper on the folio. We've got that. And then we've got our sunshine word. That will stick across the bottom of it. Even that up. There's that. Now we'll go back to the tuck spot. And we'll ink up our crystals. We're going to put foam on that. So we want to put glue on our foam. Grab another piece of foam and put glue on that piece. We're back. All I managed to do was stick the crystals on here. We will go ahead and cut this down. Throw those in the trash. We don't need those. Get out of there. Ink this up. Okay. Use the glue and glue it down. I'll put it upside down. That wouldn't have been good. Center that right on there. Then we've got the front. And I found this picture that I'd like to put on the front, but first I'd like to ink it up. Kind of reminds me of the front of the junk journal. A little different, but reminds you of it. Okay. Alright, it's the right size. So I'm going to open this up like this. I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to make a pocket out of this. So I only want to glue three sides. I want to hold my hand here. Need a little more glue there. Okay. And we'll center it up over here, hopefully. Give it a little press. Clean up any excess glue around the outside edge. And then I've got some journaling cards here. Make sure this one fits in there. Yep, it does. So we'll get a little bit more ink. Ink up the sides here. Except for what I want to do with this one is grab some scrap. Yep, I got some scrap right here. And take my punch and punch out a tail. Ink that up. Make sure it's on both sides. Okay, and I'm going to put this on here. Okay, that's right where I want it. Then just spread glue everywhere else. Okay, then that goes there. And there we've got a folio, trifold folio, and I think I've got this I'm going to ink up to put in that pocket there. And then I've got another one, journaling card. To put in this here. And then I found some of this seam binding. It's vintage. And I keep these because I eventually am going to make a sewing journal. And grab me a little length here. That looks good. Cut them both at an angle. I'll use that later. And then I can tie this on. There we go. And there is our trifold folio. Thank you for stopping by today. Have a great day. Hugs.